Hey everyone, it's Michael Antonovich with Swap Moto Live. The Pro Motocross Championship continues its cross-country tour with Round 7, the 2024 Spring Creek Motocross. The Minnesota track has been a staple of the series for decades and has hosted a national every year since 1983, so let's get ready for the weekend with a pre-race news break presented by Yamaha. The Martin family has owned the property since the early 1990s, and former pro racer Alex has joined parents John and Greta in the day-to-day operation. Efforts for this year's race include more Caterpillar equipment to dig into the dirt and rip it deeper, and a piston bully groomer to give the sandy mix a nice smooth finish. A warm, dry week in the upper Midwest has stretched into the weekend, and race day is set to be an excellent summer day. Temperatures are forecasted to be in the low 90s, but humidity and calm winds in the valley will crank the heat index near the triple digits, and that'll make the motos an even bigger test of endurance. 159 riders have filed entries with the AMA, with 72 listed in the 250 class and 87 in the 450 class. The 450 class will be on track first today due to a live broadcast on NBC, and the entire race day schedule has been condensed to make the most of the television package, with slight adjustments to the time qualifying procedures and an early wrap-up time of 5 p.m. We'll keep this brief and go over how the top 10 are ranked for both divisions ahead of the weekend. Chase Sexton has claimed control of the 450 class and red plate with 260 points. Hunter Lawrence is second with 253, Justin Cooper third with 212, Jet Lawrence fourth with 210, Aaron Plessinger fifth with 202, Jason Anderson sixth with 185, Dylan Ferranda seventh with 172, Malcolm Stewart eighth with 164, Justin Barsha ninth with 148, and Christian Craig has moved into 10th with 106. Hayden Deegan continues to lead the 250 class by a sizable margin and has 276 points. Chance Hymas is second with 234, Tom Vial third with 233, Joe Shimoda and Levi Kitchen are tied for fourth with 213, Ty Masterpool is sixth with 188, Pierce Brown seventh with 145, Jalik Swoll eighth with 138, Jordan Smith ninth with 124, and Ryder DeFrancesco is 10th with 120. before we got this going, I just said that Wheelie was sick, but you said it was no big deal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, well, it was on the second slide too. I was just like, you know, come out of the corner, wheelie, scrub, was doing it, and yeah, I mean, everyone started liking it. So maybe I should, you know, post more riding video often. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, just Insta bangers all the time from Joe. It would look good. How's everything been? Your week in DeWitt looked like a good time. You were up there for a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I stayed there for 2 weeks before Red Bud and after Red Bud, and yeah, it was basically just, you know, I got myself an Airbnb there, like just ride, train, sleep, ride, train, sleep, like, yeah, that's all I did.
Way big change of pace. Way different lifestyle. Sorry about the bugs.
Yeah.
But way big change of pace, huh?
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean?
Like no traffic, everything's green,
yeah,
smaller.
It's like, I don't know, East Coast like super chill. Yeah, like, I don't know. Every time I go to the East Coast, I feel like something's off of my shoulder where I can just relax and have a clear mind on doing things, and I really liked it.
Okay, I know that it's been asked before, like you're a California guy, you have a house out there, like that's where you've been, because that's where you've been since you moved here. Sorry. Would you move? Like, would you move out east if you needed to, or no?
You know what, I really do want to, if I have an opportunity. Like, Michigan is a good place, like, and I mean Florida, where like Lawrence's are, you know, if I can have an opportunity to go there, yeah, I'd love to, but yeah, I think maybe.
All right, good to see you, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, Leo, nice to meet you. I've been seeing the name around a lot over the last year, just with the family business being very big in motocross. So give some people a rundown on what Tucker Trucking is.
So my parents run the Tucker Freight Lines, and it's just they started it in they bought the company in 2018. It had like 20 trucks, and they've built it up to around 350. So they're getting into this a little bit, starting to haul some of the equipment around, and yeah, they love it. So.
And you're a moto guy, so no better way to spend the money than what the kid wants to do.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
They help me out a lot.
You guys were title sponsor of Ironman last year, and that's the first time I noticed it, and then you guys are again this year, and then with the team too. So very cool to see them stepping up and doing it, because they could just as easily just keep it chill, but as you know, the more you do, the more the business grows. And like you said, they're hauling stuff around for people. That's a great pickup.
Yeah, they've been title sponsor of Ironman for the past 2 years now, so they and then they'll be doing it this year as well. So it's really cool. That's one of the best tracks out there, and yeah, it's just good.
Northern Illinois guy?
Yep. So I'm originally from as far northwest Illinois as you can get, but we just recently moved to Iowa, so now I'm an Iowa kid.
So you're local here?
Yeah, I've rode here. Last time I rode here was 2019, so it's been a while. I've only rode here a handful of times too, so I love the track. It's fun. Yeah.
How's the team been this year?
We're building every week.
Yeah,
it's definitely been a process, and it's just getting better and better. So.
When did you know that you were going to commit and do as much racing as you were going to do this year? Like, has this been a plan for a couple years, or did it all just line up?
No, it was kind of like a last-minute thing last year. I was on the fence of doing amateur again this year, and I just been to Loretta's as many times as you can get, so I just decided it was time to move up, and yeah, I was struggling earlier this year, but we're getting better now.
All right, what's your favorite thing about being a pro racer now? How fun is Saturday?
Well, the Saturdays are awesome. The fans are awesome. Just the entire environment is real good. Everyone is pretty supportive of everyone on the track. I mean, if you're on the track, everyone's cheering. So that's probably the best thing about it. And then obviously just traveling the country. I haven't really done that, so it's nice to do.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
Hi, dude. How you been? How's it been?
It's been good. Had some up and down rides this season, but super excited to be out here at Millville, one of my favorite tracks. So yeah, we're good.
Yo, this is coming in good.
Yeah, I was trying to get a little American spirit going on for Redbud, and then started trying to get a little party in the back, but came in a little late. So we started it. So now she's got to see it through. Got to get her going a little longer.
Okay, ups and downs of the year. We know the summer, it's a lot of racing, it's a lot of motos. How's it been from your perspective?
Yeah, just like you said, some ups and downs. Started off the season with some points, and then had a few rounds that have been not too great. Second moto at Redbud, I was actually feeling really good on the bike. I found a good place with settings and everything, so really happy with the effort on the team. And yeah, I'm actually really excited to race this weekend, and then next weekend going home to Washougal, and that's about 2 hours from my house. So got a few really good weekends coming up, I think.
How's the adjustment from the KTM for so long to the Suzuki been?
It's been really interesting. I rode KTM pretty much my whole life, so jumping on the Suzuki was brand new to me all the way around. So it didn't really matter much where I went with the motorcycle because it was all new. So whether I had new handlebars on it, different foot pegs, everything was brand new. So it was a really fun learning curve, and I really like the bike. I've fallen in love with it, and like I said, we have a great setting under me right now with the guys at REP. So I'm really happy with it right now.
Dude, those first few laps on a new motorcycle or a trip, huh?
Oh yeah.
Whoa, dude, what's it doing?
Yeah, and I didn't even ride it outdoors when I got on it. I just got on the 250 on Supercross at Lake Elsinore, and so yeah, it was quick to learn it. And then I even after Supercross, I jumped on the 450, and that's a whole different beast. So it's been a lot of learning, but it's been a lot of fun with these guys.
Okay, I know this is an old joke, but it's an accurate statement. You got to know, how well have you gotten the starting thing down? Because forever you've just been pushing a button, but now you find top dead center, just give it a good hump.
Okay, so there is strategy to it. You are right. You got to find top dead center. If she's hot, you maybe got to hit the choke. There's some technique, some finesse to it for sure. But yeah, I've gotten her figured out again. Actually, Christian from Alpine Stars has a KX 500 here, and he knew I'd been kickstarting, so he called me over to fire that thing up for him. So yeah, I got the kicking dialed.
Okay, last thing, because you are the Pacific Northwest local, be the shout out for why anybody in Portland next weekend needs to go to PIR on Thursday. How good of a time is it?
Well, I'll be racing, so that's one reason to go. A lot of guys will be racing. It's going to be sick. It's a good time every year. Good pro purse, so a lot of guys show up. So, I mean, no reason not to show up. It's awesome. It'll be right downtown, and yeah, it'll be sweet.
Thanks, Max.
Awesome.
What's poppin', Marsh? How is it?
Had a bit of a rain cloud week. Suspension got stuck in Chicago ORD, so drove it up from Michigan, picked up my suspension. We're here, just privateer stuff.
Wait, you drove back to Michigan and then had
I
to...
stayed in Michigan.
Okay. And then had to drive over. Yes.
Yeah.
What happened? Okay, I've heard this suspension story from so many guys all the time. So what happens? Like, my bag doesn't show up sometimes on the conveyor belt, and I'm like, shit. When that doesn't show up, what do you do?
It's not a good feeling. Your gut just kind of drops, and you don't really know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Still don't really know the process. I just stayed on hold with American all week, and finally, no, I got it. I picked it up on the way here yesterday. So basically, it came down to they weren't allowing it to fly, and if I wanted to get the suspension, I had to pick it up in person. So I finally got a hold of them Wednesday, and they're like, hey, if you want it, you got to come get it. So I just changed my travel plans and drove up here.
But that's just more time at home with the fam, huh?
Right, yeah. My brother's got a badass car simulator set up, so we were just doing F1 laps nonstop all weekend.
Just in it. Where'd you drive?
You
do all of
Brazil, and we did Monza and Silverstone, all three. Yeah.
Did you feel like Lewis after Silverstone? Were you watching all the hot lines and the braking points?
I don't know if it correlates, but the way you get off the gas and kind of roll the turns, like I treated it supermoto style. When I braked really hard and got on the gas really hard, I'm like, maybe when I ride my dirt bike, I can like. Sorry, there's gnats.
There's a lot of gnats.
Yeah, I could like let off the gas a little earlier and let the bike roll a little bit more. Beat out some hammerhead.
Sick. Thanks, Marsh.
Yeah, thanks.
What's up, Grant? How was the week?
Week was good. Got back on Tuesday from my Redbud road trip.
Flight get canceled?
I didn't fly.
Okay.
I drove.
You knew?
Yeah, I drove up. Girlfriend had some stuff in storage and a teeth appointment, and I was like, well, we'll just make a road trip out of it. You know, flights are expensive, rental cars are expensive, shipping containers are expensive, so figured, you know, it was fun. I had a good time.
And you missed the entire storm?
No, I drove back in the storm.
But you didn't have to, like, go do motos in it.
Yeah. I also hauled Jake Masterville's bike up there and back, so it kind of worked out. Help out, a fellow Texan.
I love how all you guys stay together. Like, especially in the privateer thing, we all know you guys do that, but it's the little things here and there. We're going to bunk together this week. We're going to go two bikes in this van, pit together. It's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all competitive on the track, but with how hard this sport is to, make it to the races and afford it, the more we can help each other out, the better.
All right, with just everything, I mean, we're halfway through the summer right now, and you and I have talked so many times about just the comeback that you were going to have to do from Donations last year. So for this midsummer update, how are we feeling?
I mean, we're feeling good. Hip is what it is. I think my riding's getting better every week, and I'm hoping, unlike last year, by the time SMX comes around, we're kind of hitting the peak form for the year, so we can capitalize on that and make some money.
Have you done your troll training stretches yet?
Not yet today, but we were on the bicycle earlier.
But you're back. Are you doing the stretches? Because I remember you told me early in the year you don't do the stretches.
I don't stretch.
You're not stretching?
No, still not stretching.
Still not stretching.
I mean, we're doing the work when we can, but we're not stretching.
Okay, this being Al's home race, how nice is it to come up and see what he's doing and just spend time with the guy?
I didn't show up till today.
We'll see him.
Yeah, like I got back Tuesday night, recovered all day Wednesday, rode Thursday, flew in today, just kind of trying to manage my week a little bit. I'm sure I'll see him, bother him a little bit. Hopefully he'll give me some tech tips on the lines and everything. I know they made some track changes, so excited to see that.
All right, also you hyped up FXR heavy last week, and this is the FXR National, so give him a shout out.
Yeah, I mean, shout out FXR. I think, like I said last week, they've come a long way since they started. I feel like they're one of the best, if not the best, gear company in the pits right now, and I think it shows.
Thanks, Grant.
Yeah, thank you.
What's up, Phil? How was the week?
Yeah, it was good. We spent all week in Minnesota, came up Tuesday afternoon, did FXR Ride Day Wednesday, hung out with the Martins on Thursday. Jerma had a pool party yesterday, and just hung out. It was a good time hanging out with Amart. Built this house, got it all finished, and I'm spoiled this week, so no travel, no hotel, no nothing.
Oh, yeah, you're local.
Local. Yeah, listen, I woke up to dirt bikes this morning when I was having a cup of coffee, so it's pretty cool.
Is that nice, or do you need a break from it?
No, it's nice. The 40-minute drive into Rochester and back, and especially where First Moto's this weekend, so getting up early, showing up earlier for practice, kind of like, it makes my life easier being able to walk 200 yards across, into the pro paddock. It's, that's 5-star treatment.
I saw Big Al this morning, and he's definitely in. He's got the earpiece in. He's locked in. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
How cool has it been to see your buddy transition into the guy now up here?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Troll Daddy's, his parents are still involved, but I have to say, he's got maybe 80% of it unlocked to where he's handling everything, from security, porta potties, track, watering, dozers, tractors. Like, it's kind of mind blowing. On top of that, he's got troll training as well. So it's he's tapped. He's got a little boy. He's got another kid on the way, and it's just built a house. So life ramped up for him real fucking quick. So and I'm here still being a loser riding dirt bike. So it feels weird. He's surpassed me in life at the moment. So I need to hurry up and try and catch up. But he's doing an awesome job. And like I said, it's cool to come here and spend time with them and see what it's all about.
Okay, listen, I hate to ask this question, but I have to ask it because you two are such good candidates for it. Mm-hmm. We know Al's out of it. He's moved into the next thing. We all knew that this was going to be interesting to see how do you go into the next part of your life, and he clearly has a lot of stuff to keep him occupied. Mm-hmm. We know yours is coming. Do you guys have this talk, or is this just, fuck, we'll get to it when we get to it?
I had to talk with him when he was retiring, and when I retired, I told him, like, hey, at Anaheim, like, hey, it's my last one you want. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, it should have been 2 years ago with me, But the problem is, like, he has a wife, and like they want to have kids, and it's hard. Like, they didn't want to have a kids while he was still racing, and like there's a lot of factors that go into it because it's not easy to do this sport with a kid and a family. So for me, I'm still kind of a lone soldier on my own, and but now it's just come to the point where it's just like it'll be nice to come here next year for the national, and then we can just sit up there and drink beer and hang out. So, or I can come up here and he can put me to work on a tractor. So it's just a weird dynamic now, from where we were 14 years ago to now. It's yeah, it feels weird to be honest with you.
Dude, he's gonna have you Mike Alessi weed whacking. It's gonna be great.
Not a fucking chance. So there's not enough money here buried in the side of Millville to make me go weed whack for him. So, but yeah, it'll be fun. If he wants to put me in a AC's,
One of those pulley cats?
Yeah, exactly. Or a tractor with AC, I'll do that, but I ain't fucking weed whacking.
All right, last thing. Did you have any beers at the pool party? Were you crushing some Michelobs?
I did. How'd you know it was a Michelob?
Because I know that's what the program is for the athletes up here.
I did have a Michelob, even though it is Anheuser-Busch, but I did have a Michelob, and then I switched to non-alcoholic. So I had one, and then I actually had another one last night with Big Al too. Shit, I forgot I had two. So no beers tonight though. We got to stay straight for tomorrow.
Yo, you know that a beer is the ultimate post-recovery beverage. It's got the carbs. It's got all.
I know. I actually cannot wait. Our moto ends at 3:10 tomorrow. I have Coors Light in our semi-cooler, and I'm gonna have two of them on an empty stomach, and I'm just gonna let it hit. So I'll be walking around with the fans like a zombie tomorrow. So looking forward to that, to be honest.
I now am too. See you, Phil.
Thank you.
What's up, Blair? How was the week?
Dude, it's great. We're in Indy all week for the 450 bike launch and had a good time on the road. Honda took really good care of us and took us some cool places. Got to go to the IndyCar simulator in Indy on Thursday. Super rad, super cool opportunity. Yeah, honestly excited to go home. Want to go home and see my dog, but yeah, one more bucket list on the weekend, and we'll go back home. So excited to race this weekend.
Did you get to drive the simulator?
I did.
Dude, that thing's gnarly, isn't it?
Crazy.
Crazy. And everything you think you're doing right, you're not doing right?
Definitely not. I mean, I drive a Chevy Express back home. Like, ain't no race car by any means.
It's a trip. That thing is, I got to go see that like 10 years ago, and I can only imagine where it's at now, but just that whole building just for that.
Yeah, it's rad. It's crazy. Super cool opportunity.
How'd you do in the go-kart?
Not great performance. My kart, all four tires were horrible. I mean, excuses, but it was pretty aggressive. Everybody was on it, so.
What you got to do is when you get to the back corner of the track where they're not watching, you just lean back and just let a little air out of the tires.
Exactly. I should have just hopped in a different kart at that point.
Thanks, Chance.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
450 Moto 1 last week. I hate to go back to bad shit, but there's this moment from when you guys are on the podium that I can't get out of my head. You're just 1,000-yard stare. And Chase goes on the podium, and he hears the crowd, and you're completely oblivious to it. Dude, what is this emotion like when you guys do the races, and then you have 45 minutes to regroup and then get back down there to do it?
Yeah, I think right after I said it to someone as well. I was like, man, I would have rathered get pantsed on the first lap and then not see him for the rest of the moto and finish second that way than to lead until the last lap and just get caught out like that and then finish second. Like that one, you've done all of the work, the long moto to get to that point, and then to just get caught out on that, and then you're like, damn, that sucked.
Just how intense you were, and then just to regroup and do everything, and then even to think of the strategy for tire choice, and we got to do this and that. Like, I just had to give you some props on that, because standing by there and with all the team, that was the biggest juxtaposition of what happens at the races, and I just had to tell you that was to see it. I understand it's got to be hard for you.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's that stuff that makes this stuff so cool.
Thank you. Thanks, brother.